We're joined in the studio now by Karen Woods. Now, Karen, despite struggling with reading until she was 39, is now, would you believe, making a living out of reading and writing. It's lovely to see you, and it is incredible. We'll come on to 13 novels you've got under your belt now. Take us back to when did you leave school not being able to read?
Yeah, I left at 15. I was a naughty kid and I couldn't wait to leave school. I left with no qualifications, and that was sort of me, really.
But you weren't taught to read?
I was. We was all taught to read, but I'd say I was below average. I was sort of a cheeky northern girl sat at the back of the class, just there for a bit of warmth through the day, not to learn.
And it didn't bother you at that point that you couldn't read?
No, because we was all the same. We was all... No one was pushed to learn to achieve or anything like that. It was just basic skills that we had to get.
And what about at home? Did anybody read books? Were your parents kind of saying, this is wrong, she should be able to read by now?
No, because it wasn't like that when I was growing up. It was... You got home from school, you went out to play, you come back as late as you could, and back to bed and school the next day.
What about shopping and stuff like that? When you went out and what about when you got letters and...
As a child, obviously my mum used to get them. As I got older and I got letters and things like that.
Yeah, what did you do when you got a letter, an official letter about, I don't know, tax or national insurance?
Well, most of my letters was from the benefit agency, so you knew all the you knew all the stamps that was on them.
But
and I thought, right, OK, I've got to pay this back.
Yeah.
And I had the basis of understanding sentences, but I just got by.
Did you ever get embarrassed by it or tell anybody? Like, if they said, will you read this, did you ever say, actually, I can't read?
I was very clever in disguising my difficulties, and when I used to work, and my boss used to say to me, you know, like, Karen, I've sent you an email and things like that, and I used to go, well, I'm here now. What was it about? And that's how I disguised the difficulties that I had.
It's amazing, actually. Oh, sorry, Jimmy, we were talking this morning about the tricks that people can employ. She was very smart, isn't it, of hiding, managing to hide, not being able to read all right.
Having children, did you not want to read to them, or...?
It's funny because obviously I've got 4 children now, and when my eldest lad was young, he used to bring books home from school with a record of reading. I thought, oh my God. So as he was learning to read, I was learning to read.
Right,
I picked up the story, started to add my own bit. Peter Pan becomes someone, you know, very, very special the time I'd finished with him, so... I actually learned.
You thought you'd hidden it from your boss, and you're saying, but he spotted it, didn't he? And it was him that kind of set you onto the road of accepting this and trying to do something about it.
Yeah.
What happened?
He said to me, Karen, we're doing an adult literacy course. Do you fancy going on it? And I thought, yes, brilliant. Skive out of work. I don't have to answer phone calls all day and everything like that. I'll go on it. That was the only reason I went on. I didn't expect to go in the classroom and come out with the level that I did. I actually thought when I went through the door, all my old teachers was going to be sat there and thought, I knew you'd be back. So going through that classroom door, I think I'd lost me. And when I went through the door, I found me again, and it was such a big, massive change in my life.
It must have given you a lot more confidence.
Yeah.
And didn't it make life simpler?
It did, but then obviously you read your bills and you think, oh, God, yeah. But, I mean, it did make my life so much easier, and...
And look where it took you now. How many? 12,
13 novels.
13 novels.
Was that something you always wanted to do?
Yeah. I think now I was always creative, but going through life, you have dreams and they sort of die, don't they? And you forget who you are.
Why do you think there is such a stigma? And we've done a poll. You know, all the statistics say that people are very embarrassed to talk about it. 6 million adults whose literacy is low, and yet they won't talk to anybody. Why do you think there's such a stigma about that? Because look what it's done for you by talking about it and getting some help.
Being stamped as a failure, isn't it? It's being different and people judging you, and people don't want to put themselves out there to be judged. But when I went in that classroom, there were so many other people there, the atmosphere, it wasn't like learning again. It was no one was saying, all right, failure, sit over there, you don't understand that. It was so easy to learn from there. And even things like putting your sentences together all come back to me. So you don't get judged anymore like you used to. It's just, OK, we're here to help.
Well, what advice would you give to any adults that find themselves in the position that you were before?
I'd say education's been my biggest adventure, and without it, I'd be still mopping the floor somewhere. I do mop floors still anyway, you know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that. But take the chances and open the doors, because just one little change will make so much difference to your life.